about the condition for a minimum and a condition for a maximum when a single slit due to diffraction. Now we are going to discuss the conditions. So what are that? In a first minimum is taking place, right? So we are going to say that at what conditions or not the diffraction is possible and at what condition the diffraction is not able to get it, right? We will discuss that. So what is that? We already studied about the minimum. When we get minimum, when the slits are divided into even numbers. So we will take an example for a first minimum. So first minimum is given by equation what? A sin theta equal to lambda, right? So we derive that A sin theta equal to n lambda. That is the general condition for what? To get the minimum diffraction is points, intensity, that is dark points, right? So we can, from this, we can take the angular spread of this diffraction can be said to be equal to sin theta equal to lambda. So with the help of this conditions, we are going to discuss various special conditions to get at what conditions the diffraction is going to take place, right? So first we are saying that when this A is greater than lambda, what is A? A is nothing but it is the width of the slit. Lambda is the wavelength of slit, and we already studied that the wavelength of the thing light used should be equal to what? The obstacle, right? Comparable with the obstacle, then only what? Diffraction is taking place. But what is the condition we are saying? The width is very less than the wavelength of light. So that is wavelength of light is greater. Therefore, it means that what? The sin theta will never be greater than 1. Therefore, diffraction is not possible. I already explained it, right? So if I take the example for a door, right? If I am starting, if it is a very bigger door, we can easily walk through that, right? So if it is a very small door, we have to bend like this. Like this bending and moving through the slit is not a diffraction. So what we have to do? So it should be very accurate. So if we go that, it has to offset us. Therefore, we have to slightly bend to move over that. Then that is called as what? Diffraction. So when the slit width of the slit is very less than wavelength, it says that the sin theta should be what? The sin theta is never be 1. Therefore, this condition is not possible. At this condition, we will not be able to get what? The diffraction ratio. Right? Then we go for the next condition. When A is greater or equal to 11. Right? There are two conditions being given. One is said to be greater and another is said to be equal. First we will take the condition of what? Equal. When A is equal to lambda, then we can say that sin theta is equal to 1. Sin theta is equal to what? 1. Right? Then theta will becomes to what? 90 degree. So we can say that the first minimum will occur at 90 degree and the central maximum will spread out and the diffraction will take place at the angle of what? 90 degree. Therefore, when this wavelength is equal to the slit, the width of the slit, therefore the diffraction is possible only at what? 90 degree. Suppose when the wave that is width of the slit is very greater than lambda, then sin theta will be very less than 1. Then therefore it says that the first minimum will fall within the width of the slit. Therefore it is very difficult for us to observe that. Therefore we can say that the diffraction is not can be noticed because it is very already slit is very small, and since it is going to lie within the width of the slit, it is going to be very small. Therefore diffraction will take place, but it is very difficult for us to observe the diffraction. Is it clear? So what is the condition we are saying? One is less than lambda, and sin theta will be maximum. Therefore diffraction will not possible at that condition. When it is equal to lambda, it is possible only at the angle of what? 90 degree. That is first minimum will occur at the angle of 90 degree. When it is very less than 1, then we can say that it will occur within the width of the slit, and it is very difficult for us to observe what is the diffraction. Then what is the condition? Next condition, we are going to the conditions when width is greater than lambda. So comparably to that, we can say that A is equal to 2 lambda. Right? So when A is equal to 2 lambda, sin theta will be equal to lambda by A, then lambda by 2 lambda gets 1 by 2. So when the sin theta will be 1 by 2, then angle theta equal to 30 degree. Therefore, we can say that the diffractions can be observed effectively. Practically speaking, only at this condition, we can say that the diffraction can be practically observed in that place. Right? Is that clear? So these are the various discussions that has been taken place in what? Like double, not double, it is a slit, right? Single slit diffraction method. Right? So now we said that in diffraction, the rectilinear property has been violated. So that is still ray optics. We have studied about what the ray optics. It is a light balance rotate. So light is a rectilinear in motion, right? So light travels in a rectilinear motion, right? So but in that fashion we are saying that the light will bend. So it is violating the condition. So for that the Fresnel has been given an explanation for that. He says that the distance after which the ray optic is valid in terms of rectilinear propagation of light, we call that distance as what? Fresnel diffraction. Or we can say that it is what? Fresnel's distance. So what is that? The distance up to which the ray optic is valid. So ray optic is valid means what? The condition of rectilinear is obeying. Then we can call that distance as what? Fresnel's distance. And in terms of rectilinear propagation. Therefore we can say that till the Fresnel distance, the ray optics have been obeyed. Above the Fresnel distance, ray optics have been obeyed. So that is a two name. Ray optics, ray optics. So ray optics stands for entire thing will be propagated in terms of what? Waves. And we are saying how the ray optics light is obeying the five phenomena of light. Similarly, the wave is also obeying what? The five phenomena of light. That's why we are proving it in ray optics. Right? So we already learned about what? Refraction through Huygens principle, refraction through Huygens principles, and interference of waves between two things, right? Coherent sources. And now we are discussing about what? Diffraction. And in diffraction we came across what? The rectilinear property of ray optics has been violated. So in order to satisfy that, Fresnel distance has been discussed here. So Fresnel distance says that up to which the ray optics condition is obeying is called as ray optics. That is Fresnel distance. And below that we are calling that as what? Ray optics. Is that clear? Right. So first we are going to take a first minimum condition. First minimum condition is given to be what? Sin theta equal to lambda. Right? So A sin theta equal to lambda. You know that, right? A sin theta equal to lambda. From the sin theta equal to what? Lambda by A. Therefore, when the angle is very small, we'll write sin theta equal to what? Theta. Therefore, theta will be equal to lambda by 2. Let it be the equation to be 1. So we'll represent the Fresnel distance as what? Z. Right? So we say that, so definition from the definition of Fresnel distance, we are saying that sin theta is equal to A by Z. So look into here, so diagram. So from this, the slit has been that. These are the two parallel beams. This is ray optics. So it has been diffracted. It has been bending like that. So this angle is said to be theta. If you want to find sin theta, opposite side, right? Right? Therefore, the equation becomes to be what? Sin theta equal to A by Z. Sin theta is equal to what? A by Z. Therefore, 2 theta equal to A by Z. So since here also we are applying the same condition, then the angle is very small. Right? Theta becomes to be 2 theta itself. 2 theta equal to A by Z. So we are going to substitute. We are going to equate these two equations. Theta equal to what? A by 2 Z. So we are going to compare the equation 1 and 2. So lambda by A equal to A by 2 Z. From that we are going to calculate what? The Fresnel distance. Z is equal to A square by 2Z. So this clearly says that this distance is said to be Fresnel distance, up to which, right, it has been deviated. Then we are saying that the parallel condition is called ray optics and the deviated condition is called as what? Ray optics. Is it clear? So this is a simple idea for that. If they ask the Fresnel distance, you have to say that what? The distance up to which the rectilinear condition is obeying is called as Fresnel distance. Right? So up to which the ray optics has been obeyed, we call that as what? Fresnel distance. Therefore, that ray optics has been given. So Fresnel distance has been calculated by the formula Z is equal to A square by 2 lambda. How we are calculating? We are taking a minimum, first minimum condition, and we are writing theta value. Then as per the diagram, we are taking the value of what? 2 theta. So 2 sin 2 theta equal to what? A by Z. Therefore, writing minimum. We have said that the angle is very small, we will write as theta only. If it is a cos, we will write as 1. If it is a tan, we will write theta. So here it is sin. So sin is very small, means what? 2 theta equal to A by Z. So we are comparing these two equations. Therefore, we are getting what? Z is said to be, that is Fresnel distance is said to be equal to A square by Z. Right? So these are some of the 2 mark based questions. So we have thoroughly learned about what is meant by diffraction, and we have studied about the 2 types of diffraction, which is called as Fresnel diffraction and Fraunhofer diffraction. Then we went into what? The diffractions of a single slit, and we started about the 2 conditions. At what condition we will get a minimum, and what condition we will get what? A maximum in this case. Then we discussed about what the special cases are, which the first minimum is that, and at what condition we get diffraction in a practical manner. And and we get a practice. And we also studied that. So since this rectilinear condition is violated in diffraction, we studied about what? The Fresnel distance to eradicate it. Right? But next we have to study about what? The diffraction using a grating. So it is your experimental setup. So we will learn that. Right? Thank you. So we are going to learn about the diffraction method. So in our last video, we have learned about the diffraction of a single slit, and we have studied about the condition for a maximum and minimum. Now we are going to apply the same condition in terms of a grating. So in diffraction, we have said about a very important concepts and what. So what we have said? So we said that the obstacle of anything should shoot with the wavelength of light, because then only the diffraction has to take place. So you have to remember this into your mind very cleanly, right? So one of the such devices help me to diffract the light is said to be grating. So what is a grating? Grating is nothing but a small glass slit in which more number of lines has been drawn with the help of a diamonds, right? So how many number of lines can be drawn? So we can say that by 1 centimeter, 6,000 lines has to be drawn in it. So very minute lines has been drawn with the help of our diamond structures, and we are getting 6,000 lines per centimeter. For 1 centimeter or per centimeter, that is 1 centimeter, how many lines has been drawn? 6,000 lines has been drawn on that. We call that type of a plane transmission glass plate as what? A plane transmission routine. So for what purpose this grating is going to help us? So this grating has helped our thing to diffract the light, right? So what else has to be done? So when you draw a line on that, that line is going to act as me as an obstacle, right? So the line, this gap between the two lines, that is a transparent one, which is going to act as a slit. So that width of the slit is going to be equal to the wavelength of light we are going to use. Therefore, the diffraction grating is eligible or make us diffract the light. So when I place it under a mercury color, we can easily able to see the visual colors nicely. So all the visual colors have been given in that. So it helps me to diffract the light as the prism is doing it. Is that clear to you? Right? So we are going to study about the diffraction with the help of a device called what? A grating. So what do you mean by grating? We can say that a grating is nothing but a small glass plate on which per centimeter 6,000 lines has been drawn on it. So we call that type of a grating, that plate, glass plate as what? A grating. So in which the line has been drawn. The line drawn means if I say, so you are drawing a line here. So this line is going to be acted as an opaque surface. Opaque surface means what? It is not going to allow the light to pass through. It will obstacle the light. Then if I draw the next line, the same line I am going to draw it means the two things is said to be what? Obstacle. The gap between the two lines is going to act as a slit. So through which the light enters. So if this the wavelength is going to be the same, therefore the light gets bent away, therefore it diffracts. So do you want to see the grating? Yes, I am going to show you the grating to you. So this is our grating, right? So this is our grating. You can see this, right? So this is the grating we are going to use in our practicals. So this is a glass plate. So in which what? More than 6,000 lines has been drawn in there. So this is the basic grating. So with this grating, we will place it in a spectrometer device in order to get a diffracted image. So while studying the experiment, I will explain this clearly. So this is the grating, right? So we can easily able to view this line, spectral lines through this. All the visual colors can be studied to it. Once you have been coming for a practical, you will enjoy these experiments, right? So we'll study that in detail. Right. So what we are going to say? So the same thing has been drawn here. So the line, these lines represent what? The ruling lines, right? The thickness, the width of the ruling and the width of the slit is going to be determined as same. So we are going to name it. What we are going to name it? The slit, the width is said to be A, and the ruling, that is obstacle width is said to be what B. This is that we are drawing in two-dimensional manner. So this is a slit like this, right? So these are lines, what this means we are saying these are lines. In this one, right? So this is said to be what? The gap. We call that as slit A. So this is what the ruling, that is obstacle. No, the ruling is nothing but it's a width B. We call it as an obstacle, and the space is said to be the width A, which is going to act as a slit. Then we are going to combine. We call this A and B as a grating element. So grating element means what? We will represent So E is equal to A plus B. We call that this is a summation of both ruling as well as a slit. We call that as a gradient. Right? Then we are going to say that the points on the successive slits separated by a distance equal to the gradient elements are called as what? Corresponding points. So we are going to get rise to corresponding points. With the help of this one, we are going to make a microphone on this gradient and we are going to study the diffraction effects produced by the gradient. Is it clear to you? So we have just seen about what is meant by gradient and how the gradient has been drawn and which is acting as obstacle and which is going to act as a slit. So the line which has been drawn. If you take an example, we can take our normal mirror, right? If you see the mirror on the back side, there will be a coating line in there. So with the help of a compass or any sharp thing, if you draw a line on it, the line which you are going to remove, that is we are going to remove that mirror coating, right? So if we remove that coating, that region is going to act as what? It's an opaque one, right? It is not able to see your image reflection. So if I draw a line like that, only the thing which has been left will show your image, the remaining will not show your image like that. So in a normal plate, glass plate, 6,000 lines per centimeter. It is very difficult. Only using of diamond techniques, we can easily able to draw such a fine line of equal width, right? So per centimeter, 6,000 lines has been drawn on it, and we call that type of experiment arrangement is said to be what? A gradient. When we place a gradient under a mercury vapor lamp or sodium vapor lamp, it will help me to diffract the light because the wavelength which we are going to use will be equal to the width of the slit. Therefore, it will help me to diffract the light. So we are going to consider AB. AB is nothing but a plain transmission gradient, and we are going to use a wavelength. That is a monochromatic wavelength of light. And remember that only when the slit size is comparable to the wavelength of light, we can say that the gradient will help me in diffraction. So after doing that, what we have to do? We have to find the path differences. What we have done in a single slit experiment, we are going to study about the path difference. So what we are going to do? We are going to draw a perpendicular line which makes an angle theta with that, and we are going to study for the gradient element. So this is a, so if I take this thing, this is a path difference delta. So in order to find the path difference delta, what we have to find? Sin theta, absolutely right. So sin theta equal to opposite side of hypotenuse. Here hypotenuse plays a role of what? Gradient element A plus B. Therefore what it becomes to be sin theta equal to delta divided by A plus B. Then we want to find out what? Delta. Delta is nothing but what? Is a path difference. Path difference equal to A plus B sin theta. So what we are getting? We are saying that sin theta will be equal to what? Delta. Sin theta will be equal to delta divided by gradient element A plus B. Therefore path difference will be equal to what? A plus B into sin theta. Now we want to find that the condition of brightness. So condition of brightness means we have to equate it to n lambda. Since we are going to here, we are going to use capital N for the number of rulings. We are writing the order in terms of what? M. So M here is also what? The order of diffraction. So we are going to say that the brightness condition will be the path difference should be equal to what? M lambda. So M is nothing but it is said to be what? Order of wavelength. If it is the first order, M takes the value of 1. Second order, it will take the value of 2. So on. Right? So till now we have studied the n lambda. N is also number of integers. That is one takes the value of what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Here also m is also the same one. It is order of integers. That is it takes the value of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Is it clear? Since we are going to use n for a number of rulings, here we are writing the order in terms of what? Just a representation, right? Don't confuse it. So next, we are going to consider the condition for zero order maximum. So zero order maximum means what? M will be said to be 0. That is the central maximum. So straight line at which the screen has been falling at the central point, we call it a central maximum. That is M is equal to 0. If I substitute M equal to 0 in this equation, what we get? A plus B sin theta equal to 0. When this equation will become to be 0? When sin theta will be 0. So sin 0 is what? 0 degree. Therefore the theta value equal to what? 0 degree. So that is a straight one. So where we get a central maximum. We call that central maximum as what? Zero order maximum. We get the central here. When we see the screen, we can get able to get a central maximum will be that. Straight bright light will be that. We call that as a central maximum, or we can say that as a zero order maximum. You can call that as what? Zero order maximum. What So m is equal to 1. If I substitute that in this equation, what I get? A plus b sin theta is equal to lambda. So we say that as a theta 1. Since it's the first order, we are representing is what? Theta 1. Right? So again, we can add the angle of theta 1. We will get the next order maximum will be there. So apart from that, so we will get some minimum definition. And similarly, on the other side also, we will get the same thing. So this is for central maximum, which is our zero order maximum. This is the first order maximum. Apart from that, if we move forward towards other side, we will get next order maximum. What is the second order maximum? So we will get the 2 theta angle. This is theta means this will become true of 2 theta angle. So second order maximum is what? This takes the value of m takes the value of what? 2. Therefore the equation becomes to be sin a plus b. That is a plus b sin theta 2 is equal to 2 lambda. So like that we can go on saying that. So the brightness of the intensity will be slowly reduced as when we go from one higher order to that is zero order to higher order. The brightness of the thing will be reduced. So we call that as the order of maximums. Is that clear? Right? So what we have seen? So we have seen about diffractions due to grating, and we studied about what is meant by grating. Grating is nothing but it is a small plasma in which what 6,000 lines have been drawn with the help of centimeter with the help of a diameter base. Right? Then we are saying that so the ruling on the grating, ruling is what the line which has been drawn. The line drawn on the grating is going to act as an open object that is obstacle to me, and the gap between the two rulings, that two lines which has been drawn the equal width is going to act as a slit. And how to clearly see that the width of the slit and width of the gap both are going to remain the same. So A and B both are remain the same. We simply name the name. So we say that the ruling, that is the ruling which has been drawn of the thickness, some thickness is what? We will say B, and the gap between the two ruling we are saying as A. The combined with the two elements, that is A plus B combined to give rise to what? A grating element. Right? Is that clear? So we call that as a grating element. E equal to A plus B. Sometimes in board examination they will ask you about follow 1 mark. What is the unit of grating element? Unit of grating element is what? Meter. Is it clear to you? Right. Then we are studying about corresponding points. So after successive points between the grating elements are said to be what? Corresponding point. And we are going to say that we are going to take a AB as a grating element, and we are that's not grating element. AB as a grating and gamma as a wavelength. So when the wavelength shoots with the obstacle slit, that is the width of the slit, diffraction has been taken place using grating, and with help of that we are finding a path difference, and also we are making it equal to what? The bright condition to study about zero order maximum, first order maximum, second order maximum, so on. Is that clear to you? So that is a condition. We have equal always a condition from any double set numbers. We are studying the same condition. You have to find a path difference, and after the path difference has been found over, we have to equate it to what? We have to equate it to bright condition or a dark condition depending upon the situation what happened. Since we need a bright condition, we are equating it to what? M lambda. Now what we are going to say? Condition for a higher order maximum. So condition for higher order maximum, we are going to take that inverse of grating element. Inverse of grating element is given in terms of what? The number of rulings pulled on the grating. So we say that n is equal to 1 by A plus B. Right? So inversely proportional. Grating element is what is n stands for? N is nothing but the number of rulings ruled on the grating. So rulings is what? The lines. So how many number of lines has been drawn on the grating will be given by the number. We call that number in terms of what? N. Right? So n is given to be what? 6,000 lines per centimeter. Or we can say in order to convert into meter, we can say that 6,000 into 10 power 5 or 6 into 10 power 5 lines per meter. Is that clear? Right. So we say that n is equal to A plus B. Yes, what is n? N is nothing but it is a number of grating element or rulings drawn per unit width of the grating. We call that as n, which is nothing but it is inversely proportional to grating element. So if they ask the unit for grating element, you have to write as what? Meter. If they ask the unit for that is unit for n, you have to write as what? Meter inverse. Don't confuse with it. It's a board examination based on mark which has been frequently asked. So what is the unit of number of ruling means? It is what? Meter inverse. Right. Therefore, so instead of A plus B, we are going to write what? 1 by n. Therefore, the equation will be reduced to 1 by n sin theta equal to n lambda. If we take to the side, it becomes to what? Sin theta equal to n lambda. So this is the main equation. It will help me to find out what? Wavelength of different colors. So diffraction grating will help me to what? We are going to experiment to determine about wavelength of different monochromatic light. We can have a sodium vapor lamp to explain about yellow lights, or we can give rise to mercury vapor lamp to study about what? So we will share colors. Is it right? Oh, right. So now we go further. So now till now we have studied about what diffraction using a grating, and we have studied about the condition for zero order maximum, first order maximum, second order maximum, and then we have replaced the grating element 1 by a plus b grating element in terms of what? Number of units ruled on the grating. Therefore, the equation has been reduced to the equation sin theta equal to n lambda. Am I right? Right. Now we are going to study about what? The experiment to determine the wavelength of a monochromatic light. So I am going to show you the spectrometer. The spectrometer is a device that helps me to study about the wavelength of a light using diffraction grating. Right. So this is a diagram to represent that. So here I am going to use a sodium vapor lamp, and the spectrometer will have three divisions. One is called as collimeter, another one is called as the grating table, the third one is called as a telescope. What are they? So one is collimeter, and next one is a grating table or prism table. The next one is called as telescope. So collimeter is the one which helps me to produce a narrow beam of light. So the sodium lamp has been viewed in it, and after doing all the initial adjustments using a spectrometer, it has been placed near to the sodium vapor lamp light. Therefore, a small slit will be there. Two small slits will get a minute narrow slits of sodium vapor lamp. When it is posed on a grating table, which has a grating in which it has been mounted over it, it will be showing rise to what? Two different order maximums. The central one is said to be what? Zero order maximum. If we move to another side, again we will get one slit again, which brightness is less than this one, we can call it the first order maximum. At the same angle towards the left side or right side, we get another order, that is first order. The same first order only, it will take place on either side at the equal angle. If we move to some other higher distance at 2 theta angle, we will get what? The second order maximum, n is equal to 2, which brightness is somewhat this. Instead of sodium vapor lamp, if I use a mercury vapor lamp, here we will get what? Here one set of pattern of visual color will be appeared, and again if I move to another side, the second order maximum of visual color will be appeared. At the same angle, we can easily able to observe the same pattern on the other side. So we call these two as a first order maximum. The next brightness which is known is said to be what? The second order maximum with the angle of what? 2 theta. Is that clear to you? So this is sodium vapor lamp. So I am going to show to you now. So if you see the apparatus, you can easily able to imagine this diagram. So this is sodium vapor lamp, and the spectrometer has the three divisions. One is called as collimeter, another one is called as a grating table, and the third one is called as what? Telescope. Right? So the collimeter will help me to pass a narrow beam of light to the grating. After the narrow beam has been passed over, it has been entered or captured in the screen at the narrow brightness. You can call this as a zero order maximum. So when I move the telescope to one particular angle position theta, we will get the same set of maximum at that point. This brightness is somewhat less than the first one. We call that order of thickness what? First order maximum. So we can get on either side of the central maximum. If I move to some other distance, again we will get a one order of same split. We call that as a second order maximum. So using mercury vapor lamp, we can get a visual color. So easily it will help me to calculate the wavelength of different colors. So wavelength can be calculated using the same formula. Lambda is equal to sin theta divided by n, where n stands for what? Number of units ruled on the grating, which value is known to us, which is nothing but what? 6,000 lines per centimeter. And m still takes the value of what? Order of the figures. So we will usually take for first order. So m will take the value of 1. And theta is the angle subtraction. So from this experimental arrangement, theta can be calculated for each color. Knowing the value of theta, we can substitute the value. Suppose if it is a violet question, so theta of violet is known. So by substituting the theta value and n and m value, you can easily able to find the value of lambda, because lambda is equal to what? Sin theta divided by n. Right? So n takes the value of 6,000 lines per centimeter. And m takes the value of what? 1, because it's the first order. Suppose we are going to find thing for wavelength of second order condition, means we have to write m is equal to what? Right? So that is the condition. Now we'll see the apparatus, and we can easily able to understand about the determination of a diffraction using a monochromatic light using a grating. Right? Now we'll see the apparatus. Now what we are seeing is nothing but as a spectrometer. Right? It has a three parts. The arm which is not moving. Can you able to see that? So it it is a fixed one, so we are not able to move it, we call this a fixed arm as what? A collimator. The arm, the similar arm which is movable to 360 degree. Can you able to see here? So which is moved to 360 degree, we can call this arm as a telescope. And the table which has been present here, right? We call this as a grating table or prism table. Actually, this is a prism holder. So grating holder will be like a gap. It has to hold the grating. This is a prism holder. And we can see that the circular disc which has been given here, there are two openings will be there. We call this a vernier 1 and vernier 2. If you look into it, you can easily able to see. So if you look through this collimator, you can easily able to see that. So collimator does have a small slit, right? This is a small slit which has been open. So if I screw this through, we can see that, right? You can see this small opening is there. So when I screw this, you can see that the opening has been enlarged. So it will help me to increase the width of the slit. Actually, the slit should be very small, fine one. So we'll keep it as a very narrow one. And the telescope will have what? See this telescope? The telescope will have a eyepiece. So right, so what we have to do initially we have to take a distance objects method. So you have to using seeing a distance image, we have to adjust the eyepiece for a correct position. Then we have to place this. So we have to rotate this table through, because the full scale is of 360 degree scale, right? So one vernier scale 0 will be there, another vernier 0 will be there. At one side we have to make it to be 360 degree, and another side we have to make it to be 0. Right, by keeping these two straight line, we have keeping a 0 position, and automatically this will be 0 180 position. So vernier of the 1 0 has maintained with the main scale 0, and another one is what? The vernier of 0 has been coincident 180 of your main scale. So like that we have to adjust the scale. Right, we have to keep the prism table in a right position or a grating table in a right position, and this has to be with slit. So here if I place a mercury vapor lamp or a sodium vapor lamp, the small slit has been passed through it. So after passing through the grating, it will be false on this telescope. We can easily able to view the grating slit. Then if I move to one other side at an angle, the same image will be, we'll get what we have seen at this point, but the brightness will be somewhat less. The same angle of rotation on the other side, we can easily able to find the same state. We call this as a first order maximum. We will get the center straight one is called as what? 0 order maximum. So if we move to one side, again what we have seen, small white color light or yellow color light, what we have seen, again we will get it in the screen, and we call that as the first order maximum. So on the same angle position, we will get on the next side also. We call this as first order. Again if I move to some other position, we will get the second order one, and we can have that the second order maximum. Is that clear to you? So we are not able to do and show the experiments because sodium vapor lamp, keeping a sodium vapor lamp and doing this very difficult in this video, right? If it is practical based, we can explain you that. So just to show you the spectrometer, I have shown you. This is a prism holder, not a grating holder. We have to place the grating. So if the grating is there, means we can see. So grating, we have to place that in it. So this is a grating, you know that. So we have to place it like this. So here there will be grating holder will be there. So grating holder, this is a prism holder. We should not make use of this. So we can place it like this. So grating. So the light from the collimator will be passes through that, and we will be able to see the image through that. So when the sodium vapor lamp is get, we can see the image of sodium vapor lamp light and this. So this is called. If I place a mercury vapor lamp, we will get what? The central one is a white light only. When I move to one particular angle, we can see the mixture colors. So mixture colors is the first order maximum. At the same angle, on the other side also we will get it. There is no need to go for two sides. At any one side, we have to coincide it with the violet color, blue color, red color, or orange color, yellow color. We have to coincide with that, and we have to find the angle position using these two scales, vernier 1 and vernier 2. With the help of the angle, by substituting in the formula, we can easily able to find it. So that is a diagram which has been explained that. So collimator, a grating table, and a telescope, which will explain me about what? The position of it. Right? So the next we will go for resolution of a grating, and we will study about the difference between what? Diffractions and a grating. I hope you have understood about what? The diffractions in a grating. Very simple. So once you have to remember about what is meant by a grating, and this is a grating which what 6,000 line has been moved ruled on it. Since the lines has been ruled on it, the ruling is going to act as an obstacle, and the width between the two rulings is going to act as a slip. Once the slip width is equal to the wavelength of light use, it will undergo diffraction. So we studied about the path difference, how we are equating it to it, and we are studying with the spectrometer. We can easily able to find about the various wavelength and diffractions in this study. Right? So we'll see about the next video will about resolution as well as the difference between the diffractions and interference. So till now in the last video we have discussed about the diffractions. Right? We have studied about how the diffractions can be produced by a spectrometer, and we have studied the determinations of wavelength using the spectrometer. Right? So now we are going to see about the last topic that is called as the resolution of the diffraction spectrum. So from the word resolution, it means very well to you because you know about you are purchasing a mobile also. So you will talk about the camera, pixel, base, everything we say that is a topic called resolution. Right? So what we are saying, what we have used in the diffractions of the grating, we use the rectangular slit. So we use the sodium vapor lamp light or a mercury vapor lamp light, and we have imaged the slit imaging, and we can able to find about what the wavelength of different colors. And that we found that the angle of separation theta can be given by the equation. We can say that A sin theta equal to lambda n lambda. So n lambda means n stands for, or m lambda stands for what? Order of the spectrum. Right? So using a rectangular split, we can easily able to find the angle, half angle, suspended angle, to get a spread of central maximum by the equation what? A sin theta equal to lambda. So instead of using the rectangular slit, we are going to use the circle aperture or opening and the iris in our eye also. So we can say that for if you view any point object, we can obtain an image for that. So since it is a point object, the image is not be a point image. So it will be a concentric circles of circle with the light diminished by it when we move far away from the central maximum. We call that type of a circle concentric circles which forms an image is called as what? Aristus. So image is not a point object, but it is a diffractive factor of concentric circles, and which will become fainter and fainter. Fainter means what? Dimmed over. So when we move away from the center, we call that type of formation of what? This is what? Aristus. So since till now we have studied about what diffraction pattern is a Wigner pattern in a white light constant rating, and we can say that bending of a light, everything we can see now. So instead of a point source, instead of a rectangular slit, the same point source or rectangular slit, instead of a rectangular slit, if we take a circle aperture or opening, then we can say that the image formation is nothing but is a concentric circle, and we have a central maximum. When we move away from the central to a large portion, the intensity of the light will go on fade away. We call this as what? Axis. And we can give us the same as how we are obtaining an angle separation similar to circle disk. We can obtain a separation, central separation is what? A sin theta equal to 1.22 lambda. So what is 1.22 stands for? It is a numerical value for it. It is a very higher order mathematics of calculation of a central maximum number. So till for the present this topic has been neglected, and they have simply said that the circle aperture has been calculated through some experiments, and it takes a numerical value of what? 1.22. Right? Then we know that since angle is very small, we can say that sin theta will be nearly equal to theta. Now theta will become to be 1.22 lambda again. Then from this we can say that like the arc sector formula, we want to find the angle theta, which we can say that theta equal to what? Or this distance r naught is equal to theta into distance. So this distance is f focal length. Therefore I can say that r naught by f is equal to theta. So theta can be said as r naught into f, because r naught takes the value of theta into f. Therefore r naught theta equal to r naught by f. Instead of theta I can substitute what? R naught by f. R naught by f is equal to 1.22 lambda by a, where r naught is called as spatial resolution. So it is the maximum distance in which the two sources or 2 point sources can be placed. So that distance is said to be r naught, and r naught equal to 1.22 lambda by a f. Right? Then what we are saying, there are saying the conditions for that. What are the conditions? When the 2 point sources are very close to each other, what will happen? Image formation. If I see the diffraction pattern, one over the other, the diffraction pattern will be overlapped with one over the other, and it will give rise to a confused and blurred image. So it will not be proper. So it will merge one brightness merge with other brightness. It will look like totally a merged image. We will not be able to see a clear, distinct image. So for that, what we have to do? We have to resolve the point source. Resolve means what? There should be some distance that should be maintained between the 2 point sources. Right? So for a good image, we have to get the points, the 2 point sources should be resolved, and we can say that under the condition of Rayleigh criteria, we can say that the minimum distance between the diffraction images are arranged in such a way that the central maximum of one image has to overlap with the first minimum of the second one. So at that time, we can easily able to like a bright and distinct images. So at the distance, the thing has to be resolved over. So resolution is nothing but a single distinct point has been separated by a distinct 2 points, so we can call that as to be what? A resolve. So here since the two things are the points which are placed very close to each other, the image of one will overlap with the other, it will give us a black image, it will not have a clear distinct image, will not be there. Since if we place the 2 points at some particular distances, the image formed by one image of central maximum will overlap with the image formed the first minimum of the second one, then the image can be clearly distinct as the two distant positions and it can be clearly viewed. So we can say that the central maximum of one, the first one has to coincide with the first minimum of the other. We can take the true good images of resolved images. And we can say that normal is nothing but is a distance between what? The two maximum, and therefore from this equation we can easily able to say that theta equal to the angle separations can be equal to 1.22 lambda by 8. Then we can say that first order diffraction angle should be very small, when the greater the resolution will be produced. So if we want to get a first order diffraction pattern, then the angle should be very small if we can get a higher resolution and greater resolution. And we have to use the wavelength of light as small as possible, as we have used a very small wavelength, and the size of aperture what we are using should be what? Larger. So these are the conditions to obtain what? Clear distinct images of a circular apertures. Right? What are they? In order to get a first order diffraction pattern, the angle should be very small, then the greater the resolution will be there. How far the angles are small, greater will be the resolution. And also the wavelength of light used must be what? The wavelength of light must be very small in the picture. And the next one, the size of an aperture what we are going to use should be very large. When these three conditions have been satisfied, we can get a fine distinct images and a fine resolved condition. So we call this criteria as what? Rayleigh criteria. So the inverse of the resolution is called as what? Resolving power. So we call this R0 by as what? A spatial resolution. The resolution, the inverse of the spatial resolution is called as resolving power. The resolution and resolving power are inversely proportional to each other. Therefore, I can say that the smaller the resolution, the greater will be the resolving power. So what does resolving power tell to us? Resolving power is nothing but it helps me to tell about the ability of an optical instrument. How far the optical instruments can be used to get a fine and distinct images, and how far it is going to give us a very minute information about that picture. So that is called as what? Resolving power. So we will define the resolving power. What is resolving power? Is the ability of an optical instrument to separate a small or distinct. We can say that separate or a distinct in a small or closely adjacent object through image formation is called as what? Resolving power. So very fine, right? So a single point, if you zoom like into the photo, what will happen? It becomes to be two distinct points. That area would be enlarged. So that is called as a resolving power. So ability of an optical instrument. Any optical instrument has to separate a small or distinct between a closely adjacent object, very closely packed, right? That has to be separated to a larger distance with all the details has to be clearly viewed. We call that information as what? Resolving power. So we call this as resolving power. Resolving power is nothing but it's an optical instrument. So ability of an optical instrument is how we are seeing the cameras, right? So how far finely can we like that optical instrument like microscope, telescope, everything, how minutely can be resolved to view that point clearly, we call that as a resolving power. Right? So that is one of the best features of a diffraction condition. So we have to place the point sources at a finite distance, that is R0 distance. We call that as a spatial resolution distance. Then only we can easily able to find the diffraction pattern in a very clear and diffracted manner. So it helps to view the objects. Right? So till now we have completed the reflection of Huygens principle and refractions of Huygens principles, and we have studied about interference pattern and diffraction pattern. And we are moving to a last final concept called polarization. So polarization light is having a transversal nature, and we are going to study about the detail about more polarization condition. The polarization parts are very very important role in all 3 marks questions and everything. More frequently used to standard questions comes in the concepts of what? Polarizations. We are going to see in our next video. Right? Thank you.